All right, Mustang world. At least it's the camera we're looking at. So where are we? Suni's going to show you that we are currently passing somewhere, based on our bowl, somewhere south, close to the southern tip of Africa. And we are post-ascent, post-orbit insertion burn, which gets us to a safe orbit, post-NC burn, which gets us on track towards the International Space Station. And then we're on our way, and we have completed the majority of our operational crew capabilities checkouts, so OCCs. And so we have donned our pretty sweaters, and we are off and running on the mission. And I can tell you, I wish we could have taken you all on that ascent. It was pretty thrilling. I was looking out the overhead window, just took a glance as the lightning little wire goes by, and because the only thing really, other than we just saw blue sky, the only thing kind of give us that we could see that we were moving, we could certainly feel it, and then off we went. So, Suni, over to you.
It was really amazing, a little bit shocking actually that we actually left. It was pretty cool to actually jump off the planet and then feel the Atlas V do its thing. A little bumps here and there, a couple G's that we were both experienced, push back in our seat, and then when things stopped, we could push forward in our seat. And we were pretty excited, a little hooting and hollering as we were going through the asset profile, which we practiced so much in the sim, but this time we actually felt it all as well as heard it all, as experienced it. So that was pretty awesome. And of course, when we got to orbit, it's really nice to see things start to float, like our little gravity indicator over here at Calypso. And it was just fun to be in space again. I got to unstrap first because I'm on the right seat, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm floating. That's pretty awesome. A little weird. But now, like both of us have been into it now an hour, both got out of our seat, and it's like old home week. We've done it before, and it's, like Butch said, it's really nice being able to operate in any direction. His head was down, my head was up, and we were just talking like it was a normal day, and that's what life is like up here in space. So it's pretty cool. I think we're both like looking at the camera's, upside right, I suppose, but it doesn't really matter. And you'll see it when we get to the space station when we have a lot more room to fly around it. But it doesn't matter if we're on the ceiling sleeping or if we're on the floor sleeping. So any orientation, it's great to be here.
So another comment from the ascent. So the engines actually throttle back as you're going through the region of maximum aerodynamic pressure, max Q. And I can tell you, the spacecraft, if I had my eyes shut, I could have told you we were there.
Yeah.
Because the dynamics were noticeable. I mean, we were getting probably plus or minus a degree in rates as we were coming through that area, and it was pretty dang neat. We've made a couple of comments on it, and initially it was really smooth, clearing through that wire I just mentioned, and then going through maximum aerodynamic pressure. Like I said, it was definitely working its way through there, and then past that, it smoothed it out pretty much so again, and then we were off and running. As we were continuing an ascent, we did our roll, and eventually the nose came down, and what we actually do is we climb relative to my body. We climb. We go tangential to the Earth. We actually descend. There's a period where we actually come down and gain a little bit of speed to get the speed that we need to finally maintain orbit, or actually at least stay in orbit for a period. We're not always in a good orbit at that point. But anyway, as we were doing that and we were getting kind of tangential to the Earth, I noticed out the side window, I pointed to Suni, that you could actually see the ground for the first time. And so we're looking down at the clouds. It's been a long time since Suni and I looked down at the clouds, and that was pretty fascinating as well. Let's see here. Going through our procedures in the spacecraft. Let's see here. Let's talk about the spacecraft. First, let's talk about the Atlas. Wow, we love the Atlas. Then let's talk about the Centaur. Wow, we love the Centaur. Fantastic. We got up to 3.5 G limiting, and I actually feel it like my Adam's apple, because the push was pretty cool. And then the Centaur lit off, and then we were off and running with that. Just kind of like the Sim, but it's much better to have the sounds and also the G forces associated with the launch. So it's pretty stinking fascinating. So kudos to ULA. And then we came up on LV-SEP. We separated from the launch vehicle, the rocket, and then we were in orbit, and of course the reaction control system jets start firing, and then it's just Starliner. And I can tell you what, kudos to Starliner. All the folks that have been working just for, put it like this, put all their passion and their efforts into this. We know that some businesses, some people have jobs, but it's more of a lifestyle in some occupations, and this is one of them. This is a lifestyle. And you've got to be passionate about what you do, and I know all you folks have been, and thus far it has been fabulous. This spacecraft, I mean, you can hear the sound of the RCS jet. Obviously, it's not traveling in air because it's a vacuum outside, but the sound is traveling through the structure, and it gives us a very, very unique sound, like a sound I've never really noticed before. And so that's pretty neat every time we fired it. So we went to from one mode where our guided sub mode had us in a really large deadband where you have a lot of room that you can maneuver to maintain your attitude. And then we went to a smaller deadband where it's really tight. And as it transitioned, it was like, I mean, it was constant firing of jets for like 10 seconds. And I'm like, uh-oh, is this right? Is this wrong? And then, of course, it settled out and it maintained right in that really small center position in that tighter deadband, and it stayed right in there. I can tell you also, Sonny and I both have done some manual maneuvering, and it is precise, much more so even than the simulator. I mean, stopping exactly on a number you want to stop on, it is just, the precision is pretty amazing. So again, this spacecraft, we've talked about it before, and now we are experiencing it firsthand, and it is just an amazing spacecraft put together. Boeing's done a magnificent job, and thus far, like I said, things have just gone, I don't know, swimmingly. It's gone fabulously, let's put it like that. And so kudos to everybody. ULA, phew, love you. Boeing, love you. NASA, everybody's involvement, it's been wonderful. And that's enough of my thoughts. Sonny, I'll give it back to you.
Just add one or two things, like our spacesuits are sitting right behind us, as a matter of fact. They were super comfortable. They're really great suits, easy to operate in, easy to move around in, easy to see all the displays. David Clark, thank you very much for giving us a great spacesuit. We'll take care of them, we promise. So they're, like I said, there's like our two other crew members here hanging out with us right behind us. One other thing I just want to talk about the spacecraft. It is stowed with a bunch of stuff. Thank you to Dee and Min and all that team who got this spacecraft all packed up. We've been finding stuff, of course, a little disoriented when things are on 1G and then in space. So we had a couple questions about where a couple things are, but we know our team has all the answers down there. So we thank Crew Systems and everybody who's helping us out when we have a question here or there. But I think for the most part, we got everything done. And, at night, right before we go to bed, we'll clean up just like as usual, which is very neat. And I'm trying to follow in his footsteps, keep our spacecraft nice and clean and neat, and we'll put everything away and make sure that we get a good night's sleep. So we're well on our way with our operational crew capabilities that we both got to fly, and stowage here, moving things around and finding all our stuff. It's another great day in space.
This is usually where we see if there are any questions. So, but I guess that's kind of hard here. There'll be more to come. More as we trek through the next days, next week. Again, it's been, the first 6 hours have been absolutely fascinating, and well beyond our expectations. I tell you what. So again, kudos to ULA and to Boeing and to David Clark for the suits, and also the NASA team and all the folks down at MO. All you guys sitting on console, even now. It's great to be a part of this process with all of them. Certainly a pleasure. All right, Houston, we'll call that a FinX.